Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a couple handmade dot cards in the shape of a flower bouquet with some of my watercolor tubes. Some time ago I saw an image or video of an uncommon dot card. I can't remember where or what it was, but what stuck in my mind was that instead of following the typical table grid, it was a random assortment. Perhaps it was also a bouquet or fireworks or confetti or something else. I thought this idea was brilliant, and I thought to do something similar at some point. Well, that some point has now arrived, as I wanted to make a couple thoughtful gifts. My plan was to make it look like a sketched flower bouquet. This shows more or less how the dot cards will look after they're used up. After the quick sketch, I dove right into the final piece. Just direct ink. I normally do this when sketching, but for some reason I got super nervous about this and it shows throughout. I had just gotten started when I goofed with an accidental splattered ink. But even then, my handwriting was just not going well anyway. The ink issue was fixed, the handwriting not so much. And since I goofed this, I thought to might as well make good use of it and do a second sketch. It's a bit of following the principle of measure twice, cut once. Well, sketch twice. And in this case, sketch even thrice. I think I should have done an underdrawing or used tracing paper for a better result, but I've just been obsessed with direct watercoloring, and not all has to be direct watercolor. If you watched my past video, it should come as no surprise that I'm out of watercolor paper for this project. All my watercolor paper has been transformed into sketchbooks. However, I have a block of Handmade nostalgia. Even though it's not watercolor specific, it takes water media well enough. For watercolor sketching, waterproof ink. And they must be waterproof, not water resistant. This roller and cleaner is a fantastic ink. I permanently have a pen inked with this permanent ink. It was good to get a feel of the ink and paper. It is super smooth for writing, even though you wouldn't know it from here. I just had a bad handwriting day, like a bad hair day, but worse because this is permanent. I wanted to do a minimal set, so the palette would be portable to take on an urban sketching outing. But I couldn't, and so here I am with a selection of 24 out of my current collection of 103 colors. The selection might give the impression that it's somewhat random, but there were several factors that influenced my decision. First, that I actually had a watercolor tube. I know, obvious, but as I have been sketching quite a lot lately, a few are down to the last squeeze in my palette. Second, to have a variety of colors across the spectrum and not end like with 10 blues and 1 yellow. And also a variety in granulation. Third, to have a few outstanding mixers with at least one good primary triad, like here with Queen Gold, Queen Lilac, and Cobalt Blue. Super nice, but there are many other possible combinations. Fourth, to include some tried and true staple colors, but also other popular, fun, and unique colors, like Lunar Black or Cascade Green. And fifth, to pay it forward. These 6 colors are the last to be added by Daniel Smith to their collection. They kindly sent me these tubes as a gift, and I've been happy to have been testing them out. And now I'm also happy to share them. It is just so satisfying to be squeezing a dot onto the paper. I can see why so many artists prefer to paint fresh out of the tube. It's all in the squeezing. It adds an extra sensory layer to watercolor. After filling all the dots, I realized some were a bit more cramped than others. I didn't want it symmetric. Bouquets never are. But it feels a bit off balance and not quite harmonious. In any case, it is not intended for swatching or to be a work of art, but to use it like a palette more than a swatching dot card, so that they try the colors in their sketchbooks. The end result looks sketchy, and that was kind of the point. These are for an urban sketchers group. It is a way of expressing my thanks to the recipients. I think they will appreciate the gesture and like the sketches they'll do with them. I now think that it looks more like fireworks than a bouquet of flowers. Now I kind of want to do one for myself. Have you done, received, or gifted watercolor dot cards? Dot cards are fun. You get to experiment with real watercolors. I hope you enjoyed this video and perhaps found it inspiring to make your own dot cards for gifts or for yourself. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy watercoloring!